What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And today I want to talk with you guys about what it's really like to serve time at a level 1 prison. Now, even if you have never been to prison, you've got to imagine that there's definitely going to be different levels to prisons. And in every state and in every system, whether we're talking about the state or the federal system, things could be worded and named differently. You might have levels 1 through 5 or levels 1 through 6, maybe even 1 through 7. I got to imagine a level 7 prison, though, that joint's got to be underground. That's got to be a bad place to serve some time at. You might have A, B, or C custody. In the federal system, they're going to have low, medium, high. But it's here in the state of Virginia where I've served all the time that I have, where they have levels 1 through 5. 1 being the lowest and 5 being max. And with the fact that since the age of 18 years old up until however old I am right now, I'm only 36, though I probably look sometimes when I don't dye my hair like I'm 40 plus. But throughout all of the time that I've served, I've probably served at least half of my time at these level 1 prisons. The other half I served at level 2s. Nothing ever really higher than that except for receiving when I first got to prison. And that's basically an all levels type of classification prison. And because I've served so much time at these level 1, low level, low security type prisons, I certainly could tell you a thing or two about what it's really like to be there. Things that you might not even imagine. Now, I've been to 2 different level 1 prisons during 2 different trips to prison. Damn, that doesn't sound very good at all. But the crazy thing about this is both experiences were completely different and also pretty crazy in their own regards. Before we get into what it's like to really live that convict life at a low level, low security level 1 work camp, I do want to take a moment and address the sponsor of this video, an awesome mobile game app known as Backgammon Live. Now, it's really awesome that this mobile game, Backgammon Live, gave this sponsorship opportunity to After Prison Show, because did you know that in prison, backgammon is a pretty popular game? In fact, when I first got locked up, I had no idea how to play this game. But with the fact that I would spend many years in prison, I most certainly learned, and also learned that this is something that prisoners actually gambled on. But then again, when you're locked up, prisoners are going to gamble with anything, over anything. The TV, sports, poker, any other card games, and also backgammon. Backgammon Live is one of the biggest backgammon apps with over 10 million users. You can play with experienced backgammon players from all over the world. Enjoy the ride with worldwide country-themed boards and special board variants with special features changing every few days. You can complete quests to win awesome prizes every day, and if you don't like a specific quest, you can easily replace it. Backgammon Live also has other mini games such as blackjack, high-low, roulette, and slots for you to enjoy. And you know, it's crazy because all of this is reminding me of my trip out to Reno when I got on that roulette table. I couldn't lose. But you know, maybe that was just beginner's luck, because there was this other guy who was standing right beside me. He dropped $300 on one roll and lost all that. Folks, download Backgammon Live via the exclusive After Prison Show link down there in the descriptions. And the first 10 users to reach level 25 are going to get an additional 100,000 free coins in the game. So again, folks, check out this game, Backgammon Live. I want to give a real special shout out to them for sponsoring this video. Use the exclusive After Prison Show link down there in the descriptions and let me know exactly what you think about this game. Have you ever played it? Are you any good at it? Do you know how to play it? Well, if you don't, it's definitely a game that's easy to learn, fun to play, and something that I really think you'll enjoy. So it's with all of that being mentioned, what do you say we go ahead and dive head first. That was a long drop right there into this video. Go. I went and got a massage yesterday and I had a man putting his hands all over my body, and I swear this dude dislocated one of my top vertebrae. What is it like to serve time at a level 1 prison? You know, the very first time that I went to prison, it was back in 2007 or 2008, and I would end up getting sent to this level 1 road camp known as Caroline County. Now again, throughout all of the time that I've served in prison, I've been to 2 different level 1 prisons over the course of 2 different trips to prison. Again, nothing that I am proud of at all. Wow, Joe, you've been to prison twice. That's really got to be something you're proud of. I'm not proud of it at all. It is what it is, though. You know, some people, they can get it right after the first time. Some people, it takes 10 times. Some people, they never get it right. For me, it took me probably about 10 times in 2 different trips to prison. But with the fact that I've been to these 2 different level 1 prisons, these were 2 completely different experiences. And the biggest reason for that is because back in 2007 and 2008, you were still allowed to smoke cigarettes in prison. And let me tell you something about smoking cigarettes in prison. That is definitely something that helps dudes not be so stressed out, relieve a little bit of tension. You lucky I got this cigarette right here. You lucky I'm smoking this right here. Smoking cigarettes really used to help dudes deal with being locked up. And you know, even though smoking is so bad for your health and something that I don't advise anybody to do, I do smoke. I'm trying to quit. You know, guys in prison ain't really thinking about the health side of that at all. In fact, you're gonna see quite a few dudes who look pretty healthy. I mean, they'll be out there on the track with a damn cigarette in their mouth as they're running, out there on the weight pile. I'm pushing everything up. Smoking a cigarette the entire time. And again, I'm not trying to sit here and condone smoking, but that was definitely one of the biggest things that I saw immediately upon getting to prison and getting to this level 1 facility. In fact, when I first got to prison, that was one of the things that I considered so sweet about being there. Man, this ain't nothing like being in the jail. I wish I would have been here a long time ago. And unfortunately, as stupid as this sounds, that is actually something that I really said. I was young during this time, in my early 20s. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Prison ain't nowhere that you want to be. Whether you're at a level 1 kiddie camp like an adult Chuck E. Cheese, or you're at a supermax where dudes got prison jobs, or at least they're gonna act like they do, stabbing folks. Yeah, you know, this is supermax right here. This is supermax. What my prison job is? You want to know what my prison job is? I stab folks for a living. That's my state job. They giving me 21 cents an hour to do that. Yeah. And even though at these level 1 facilities, you're not going to see the amount of violence that you probably will see or guaranteed to see at the higher level prisons, don't get it twisted for a second. You're still going to see fights. You're still going to see crazy things. I saw a guy literally get chased by the laundryman. He disrespected the laundryman. That was something I learned immediately upon getting to this level 1. Don't say nothing sideways to the dude working in laundry, because he will chase you with a piece of metal this damn long. I don't even know where you get metal like that. You would have thought this dude worked in a machine shop. The laundryman had a piece of metal this long, chasing a guy around like Thor. Wait a minute, did Thor have a sword? Chasing a guy around like He-Man. Pretty sure he had a sword. All because whoever that Chase E was disrespected that laundryman. You know, at these low-level, level 1 prisons, these road camps, you might assume that things ain't gonna pop off there. Boy, I can do whatever I want here. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me. We got a level 1 prison. I'm B-Rad, Malibu's most wanted. That's what I trained to go thug life for life. Thug life. You might not think that things will pop off at a level 1, but you gotta keep this in mind as well. A good majority of the dudes who are serving time there have worked their way down from higher level prisons. These are gonna be some of your older prisoners, and I'm not talking about somebody who's like 50 or 60 or 70 walking around with a cane or in a wheelchair. I'm talking about a dude who's like 45 or 50 years old and his neck's as thick as your waist. This dude looks like he eats the weights out on the weight pile for breakfast. Things can definitely pop off at these level 1s. Not only have I seen the things pop off, I've been part of the pop off. Fought a guy at a level 1 behind a football game, and I fought a guy at a level 1 behind the fact that he didn't pay me for doing some tattoo work on him, and I won that fight. The first fight over the football game, that kind of went either way. I didn't really get my thing off. That dude didn't get his thing off neither. It was like two guys who can't really fight all that well trying to fight. It looked like something you might see on a Facebook video. Now, since we're on this subject of things popping off at these level 1 prisons, I kind of want to go a little bit deeper into like why they do. One, you're going to have your dudes who have been locked up for a long time. We're talking 10, 15, maybe even more years, who have worked their level down. They ain't going to deal with no type of disrespect. Their neck might be as thick as your waist, or they will chase you around with a damn sword. And I don't even know where the hell they got that thing from. And the respect level and disrespect level is a fine line and balancing act at these level 1s, because not only do you got these old time OG type prisoners, you're gonna have dudes like me who are coming in there like, I ain't got no worries. This is a level 1. What's the worst that could happen? How'd I end up in medical? I didn't even know they had an infirmary at this level 1. You're gonna have these young people like me coming to these prisons acting like things can't go down here, acting like they don't even know the difference between respect and disrespect, and you'll learn it real quick. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn today. You definitely will. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I did things at this level 1 prison that I would never do anywhere else, and it could have led to some real problems. I went with another young dude and we robbed a dude. We broke into his locker, broke the lock off his locker, and took all of his commissary. The only time in my life I had ever been party to a situation like that, and afterwards, do you know, I felt terrible about myself. Yo, you ain't no damn good. Look at you, running around with these young little whippersnappers. You just a young little whippersnapper yourself, thinking that you hard. You ain't hard. You softer than a pillow. Trying to portray yourself as something that you're not. And now you're robbing people up in here? You broke into another man's locker and stole his property, his commissary, his zooms and went. You should be ashamed of yourself. Do you feel ashamed? You should. You ought to go tell him that no, don't do that. You'll probably die if you do that. But you don't need to do this. You are better than that. You're better than that, Joseph. Joey, JoJo, JG, whatever your mother used to call it. Look, you are better than that. Stop doing this. You need to change your ways. You know, most of the dumb things that I did while locked up took place at level 1s. I got higher than I'd ever been in my life, or at least my incarcerated life, at level 1s. Smoked the devil's lettuce 2 different times at these level 1s. Ended up dropping a Dr. Pepper soda on my bunkie's bunk twice. Can't believe he didn't try to stab me for that. And you know, he was one of them type of prisoners I was just talking about. The older prisoner who had worked his level down. God, I can't even imagine what it was like for him. He'd probably been locked up for 5, 10, maybe even more years. And then all of a sudden, here comes Joe. Young little J Money coming up in here with 6 months left to serve. I was bunking on top of him. I must have been the most in the way and I was rapping during this time too. You know, I fancied myself back then to be the next Eminem, except the prison version of that. I know my bunkie hated me. And you know, real quick before I move on, I want to throw in one more little interesting fact about being at a level 1 prison. And that is that, you know, everybody at a level 1, at least in terms of young people who have never been anywhere else, feel like they belong at a higher level prison. They want to go to a higher level prison, at least on the low. That's how they're going to act. Let them really get shipped, though, to a level 3 or level 4. You'll see these people break down crying like a 5-year-old throwing a temper tantrum in Walmart. But you have these young people who have never been anywhere else feeling like they belong at these higher levels. And then you're going to have dudes who are really at higher level prisons who want to be at the level 1. So you have dudes at a level 1 who want to be at a higher level, and higher level dudes who want to be at a level 1. It's really crazy. Not every prisoner is going to be like that, but there's definitely quite a few who do think like that. Damn, why can't I get down to a level 1 though? Well, sir, I'm looking at your charges, what you've been locked up for 20 plus years. You killed 40 people. You're never going to see a level 1. Now, something else definitely about level 1s here in the state of Virginia, these work camps, road camps, work centers. There's a lot of different things that they call them, but they're all the same thing. They feed you really good at these places. In terms of prison food and the amount of food, they feed you really good, especially in comparison to other prisons. I don't know, level 2s fed you really good too, but I heard like 3s don't feed you that good. The receiving unit fed us really good. Level 1 prisons here in this state, they feed you pretty good. And I guess the reason for that is they gotta fuel you. They gotta fill you up, make sure you're getting enough to eat. You're gonna be a hungry man. And the reason you're gonna be a hungry man is because you're gonna work. They don't call it a work center or a road camp for nothing. Your ass is gonna be feeling like you in that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You're gonna be out there on the chain gang, picking up trash, digging ditches, cutting grass, cutting down trees, playing with chainsaws. They won't let you have a knife in prison, but they'll give you a chainsaw. You're gonna either be on a road crew, you're either gonna be working on a farm or at some park, or you're gonna have some kind of inside defense job, which means you're cleaning toilets, cleaning bathrooms, being a rec man. I actually was a rec man while I was at this level 1 prison. I refused to do my job because part of my job entailed refereeing basketball games. And let me tell you something about prison basketball. You go out there and be a white referee if you want to with a whistle. They ain't listening to nothing you got to say. Foul! What? I would actually refuse to go to work. I wouldn't even go outside when I knew there was a basketball game going on. Or knowing that my boss, the official rec man staff member, was out there. Hey, is the rec man outside? Damn, he is. Damn, I'm trying to go play volleyball. I ain't worried about that basketball game. I'm definitely not refereeing it. And you know, I was actually a little surprised when he fired me. Then I ended up cleaning toilets. No lesser, more degrading job inside of a prison than cleaning bathrooms. They gotta feed you good at these level 1s because they gonna be working you. Boy, they gonna be working you like you a John Deere tractor out there, like you a Kubota, like you are a Caterpillar bulldozer. And one job that you definitely don't wanna have at a level 1 prison at a road camp during the summertime is working on the farm when they're growing watermelons or any kind of heavy fruit, because you are going to be bending over picking them things up all day long. I've seen 20-year-olds go out there with the strongest back in the world only to come back in at sunset because they work you from sun up to sundown. Coming back in at sunset looking like they need a life alert bracelet. Back all broke up, fell straight down the stairs. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. And you know, with the fact that there are so many jobs at these level ones and it's mandatory that you work here in the state of Virginia, they pay you pretty good. You can make upwards of 45, 55, maybe even 85 cents an hour. And in terms of prison pay, that's pretty damn good. Now I want to go ahead and move on to the second level 1 facility that I served time at. The first one was back in 2007, 2008. The second was back in like 2011, right as I was getting to prison, starting my prison term part of that 7-year sentence, right after those 25 months in the jail, right after getting transferred from the receiving unit prison where I would spend a couple of months there. It was 2011 when I got to this second level 1 prison. And the big difference during this time was the fact that they were not smoking anymore in state prison. But getting to prison back in 2011 after they quit smoking was an entirely different world. Tempers were at an all-time high. There was a lot more violence. When I got to the receiving unit, they had just come off lockdown for a major gang war, and even though I know it probably doesn't have much to do with it at all, I do think, you know, wonder if they were still smoking, would that gang war have popped off still? I'm telling you, you lucky we smoking still. When I got to the receiving unit the second time, it was the same prison that I had gone to the first time. I know that's confusing, but I went to Mecklenburg for receiving both times that I went to prison. The first time it was like a freaking cakewalk. The second time it was like walking on eggshells because the violence and the tension was so high. But after I left that receiving unit and went to the level 1 prison, my God, I felt like I had went back in time, back to the future. I felt like it was back in 2007, 2008 again, because when I walked in there, the place looked like they had been hotboxing inside the prison. It was like walking through a straight cloud of tobacco and wacky tobacco smoke. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when that bus pulled up, they unshackled me and let me off, opened up them doors and threw me into that housing unit, into that big cloud of smoke. Oh, I couldn't have been any happier. Because see, I knew they weren't smoking no more legally in the prison. But just by that sign, just by the sight, the smell of that cloud of smoke, by my eyes tearing up because it was so smoky in there, I knew that this prison, they was getting anything in there. This was a relatively sweet place to serve time at. They definitely were getting all sorts of contraband in any type of way, every which way is what it seemed when I first got there. Over the course of the 10 or 11 months I would stay there, oh, they would all but shut down any efforts of getting any kind of contraband in. They definitely fed you pretty good while you were here. The atmosphere wasn't too bad. I mean, this was a pretty laid back place. Everybody was going to work and coming back so tired from lifting up watermelons all day long that they didn't want to do nothing but lay in the bed and smoke whatever kind of a roll up they could get their hands on for $2. But even with the fact that these level 1s are pretty chill and are pretty okay in terms of serving time, they definitely have their negatives as well. You're not gonna get as much rec at a level 1. And the reason for that is because during the day, most of the guards are going out with the prisoner workers. So if you're somebody who was hoping to get rec and getting an inside job, that's not gonna happen. You might only get rec a couple of times a week and mostly on the weekends. Level 1s are also gonna be really low security, meaning that there might only be like one fence separating you from freedom. And if you're somebody who's like me, when you get there with 5 years still left to serve, looking at that one fence separating you from an escape charge isn't always gonna be the greatest thing in the world to see. You're gonna be seeing cars driving by, you're gonna be seeing hills and ravines and rivers and train tracks and freedom. Freedom. And realizing that it's only one fence and no guards in sight at all, separating you from these 5 years that you're doing and potentially the rest of your life on the run. You're gonna get caught though. Escaping is never really the right thing to do. You know, something else I should throw in as well, and this is definitely a positive for the level 1s, tattoos jump. Definitely a lot of tattooing going on there. Definitely a lot of contraband coming through there. It's definitely a lot more laid back. The guards are a lot more chill. They're not scared to death that something might pop off, even though it could, but it usually doesn't. And even though you will be limited on the amount of rec that you get at these level 1s, one good thing about the rec, at least here in this state, was that they had free weights and pretty decent and extensive weight piles. You know, in most other prisons, they're not gonna have that. They're either gonna have universal machines, meaning that you can't take those weights off of those pulleys. They're gonna have bars that are welded together with the weights, or they're just not gonna have weights at all. And a big reason why a lot of prisons ain't gonna have the weight is because one, they don't want every prisoner walking around looking like the Incredible Hulk, knowing damn well it's gonna take the entire platoon to take that guy down. And two, they don't want no one getting their head bashed in with a 25-pound weight. That's just not a good look either for the prison system. Serving time at a level 1 prison could be a cakewalk. It could also be a back-breaking experience as well because you're definitely going to be working while you're there. But a level 1 prison isn't for everybody. Even though there might only be 100 or a little bit more than 100, maybe 200 prisoners total at these types of prisons, the open dorm environment, there's a lot of prisoners who never want to experience that. They want their own cells. That's why they're going to stay at those level 3s and 4s. And if they try to get their level dropped, if a counselor tries to do that, they might go out there and just catch a dumb charge so their level doesn't drop. In my own personal opinion about a level 1 prison, they're not bad to be at if you don't have a lot of time to do. During the first time that I was at a level 1, I only had 6 months left to serve. That was nothing. But during my second time, I still had 5 years left. And there just wasn't enough going on at these level 1s. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I first got there, it was super sweet. Smoked out like Woodstock. You could get your hands on whatever you wanted. But over time, they definitely cracked the whip, and made sure that it was damn near impossible for prisoners to get the pack in or get the cigarettes in or get anything else in. And for me, that just wasn't the way I wanted to do time. And not so much because of just that in particular. I had too much time to be sitting at a prison that only had one gate separating me from the thoughts of freedom and living out the rest of my days on the run. You know, I'll be honest with you, I was scared to death that if I stayed at that level 1 prison, I might actually do something stupid like try to escape. And I didn't want to run that risk. So I ended up running my level up and going to a level 2. If you ever have to serve time, and I pray for Jesus that you never do, a level 1 isn't the worst place that you could serve your time at. And you know, just because you've served time at a high prison or you've served time at a low-level prison or you've, whatever, I don't think that that really defines you as a person. I can guarantee you that at a higher level prison, you're most certainly going to see more crazy, violent stuff. But I guess the main point that I wanted to focus on here is just because it's a level 1 or a level 2 or a level A or a level B, it's all prison. And the same type of stuff can pop off there as could pop off pretty much anywhere else, even though it might not be as common or as likely to happen. In conclusion to all of this, my final Yelp review for level 1 prisons is probably about a 7.2 out of 10. That's not a bad score. But if I could offer one little final tidbit to all of this, I hope that none of you ever have to go to prison to experience any sort of level that there is. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment, letting me know exactly what you thought about it. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!